Morning, beautiful. Lovely to see you here. And here we are outside on a chilly kind of a day, which is why I'm wearing the hat, believe it or not. The wind is coming from the south, which means it's not long been at the pole, and it's a bit of a relief actually, because I know it's going to get hot later. So I'm wearing my hat. Who knew? But I want to show you something that came out yesterday. I actually photographed it. Hi Maria. Look at this. Morning Heather. This is the first time I've seen this Japanese iris flower properly for a very long time. Alicia, Linda, look at this glory. This is a Japanese iris called, not too surprisingly, Summer Storm. You know, dark skies, bright lightning. So there it is. And it's fabulous. I haven't seen it like this for many years because they were originally growing under the cherry tree. And the cherry tree is now too shady. It used to be where that white thing's flowering. It used to be under there. It's too shady under there. They stopped growing well. And then I moved them in the back garden and I've discovered that they're miserable in the back garden. Morning, Kiki! So here we have this fabulous thing growing properly for the first time in many years. So there it is. This is something else fabulous that you will see soon. This is a gladiolus that magically appeared somehow in my mother's garden, and I've never seen it anywhere else. It's very beautiful in its form. Morning, Lucy, beautiful. And you'll see when it comes out. It's gorgeous. And of course we have another gladiolus here, which, as they do, has fallen over. But there it is. It's a beautiful thing. So we've got to enjoy that. Norma Jean, good morning, beautiful. Lucy, did I say hello to you? I get distracted. If I didn't, hello. It's lovely to see you. What else have we got in the garden today? I'm standing in the garden, by the way, but you know. We have dahlias, which always need deadheading and get bleached by. But, you know, there they are. There's two sorts, and there's these pink ones and the bright magenta ones. Let me see if I can find a bloom that's just come out. This one's pretty fresh and new. It's fabulous. Focus, there we go, and you can see all the little bugs on it. And, you know, life carries on all the flowers. This one's pretty gorgeous as well. So there we are, and you know, it's a quiet kind of a day. There's not much wind, and it's just lovely out here. One more thing, and I showed you yesterday, but I want to show you today because it's still beautiful. Last but not least, a bright orange lily. So it's the time of summer flowers, and I'm happy to be able to share them with you. So here I am strolling under the cherry tree. So what I wanted to talk about, you know, I can't even remember how I got to this last night. I was kind of scratching my head. It's that interesting time, isn't it, where we're sort of getting started and the air is still taking shape, and I'm thinking, what the hell are we talking about tomorrow? But what I decided to talk about, and there is a connection somewhere, is this whole process of changing your mind. And if you're going to fall in love with a vision of your future and be more invested into that than you are into the memories of your past, if you're going to create something else, so you've got to think outside the box, right? That's what we were talking about, thinking outside the box yesterday, thinking and feeling and being outside the box. A stampede of camels. Send those transporters to the holodeck. I got to giggle. It's an old joke. I'm not going to explain. So, if you're going to think outside the box, well, how do you do that? And this is kind of neuroscience 101, and I'm thinking, oh my God, they've all heard it before. But then I'm thinking of the people who haven't heard it before, or who've heard it before and forgotten it like I did. You know, you hear something and you remember one fact out of 10, and you go away and play with that, right? And you think, oh, that's really cool. I'm going to use that. And then you come back to the same information, and because you've fired and wired and used and got to know that all the implications and the neural networks and everything around that one fact, then your brain goes, oh, but my God, how did I miss that last time? So we're going to talk about neuroplasticity 101 again. So here's how it works. Literally, this is fact. When you think a thought, and it's new, thought is more than a passing, flitting thing that you don't even notice. you have an emotion, you have a response to it. Oh, thanks, Norma Jean. Sometimes I feel like I'm this repeating thing, but I know I'm not. So you have a thought, and if it's a new thought and you have some kind of response to it, and the strength of the response kind of, it's a moderating thing, maybe I'll get to that. New set of neurons make connections in your brain. This happens in real time. I've seen little, films of it. People have photographed this. People have caught it on camera. That you see these little whatnots. You have a brain cell, and then it's got the little bits that poke off the side called dendrites, and the dendrites connect with other brain cells. And you see this little tendril going, dock. And also, you see... Again, they've caught this on film where it's connected and then it disconnects, it breaks. And this is, that's neuroplasticity in action. They can actually see it now. So our brains are constantly changing, and how you change it is you have a new experience. Oh yeah, Linda, you totally are. You're sitting on my head, honey. Linda made this hat for me. She does amazing stuff with knitting. Enough said. Wow, it's gorgeous. Your brain is not fixed. We can grow new neurons. Yeah, we can kill them off, but we can also make new ones. And how you make new neurons is you have new experiences. And most of us think, but I'm not going to go off and go to a new place and, That's one way to having a new experience. Another way to having a new experience, create it inside your mind. And this is a real thing. It's not just having a fanciful imagination. This is really how we can change our lives. It's how I am changing my life. Absolutely. So, if you have a new thought and it's accompanied by some kind of emotional response, in your brain, little tendrils of neurons reach out and make connections. And there's a whole lot of stuff that I can feel that I can't quite explain about why and how that happens and how the brain all networks things together. But that's what happens. And when that happens, you get chemistry. And the chemistry tells your body to have a feeling that is equal to that thought. And then, because you have a feeling, now, because the brain, the law of association, this is a neuroscientific principle. If you think about, a spotted dog, you might think about a spotted leopard, or you might think about a different kind of dog, or you might think about the place that you were when you saw a spotted dog. But the brain puts things together. So if you think a happy thought and you feel happy, you're probably going to think more happy thoughts. If you think an angry thought and you feel angry, you're probably going to think more angry thoughts. You're going to find more things in your environment to remind you of things that you're going to be angry about. That's how it works. And so creating a map to the future inside your brain, right? Entirely inside your brain. Because, the future that I am envisioning is one where I have massive amounts of resources because I've got a huge job to do on this planet. Do I have massive amounts of resources? Have I got any obvious way in front of me to have massive resources arrive? None that you can see. But the reality is becoming very, very powerful and real inside me. This is the quantum model of reality that we talked about yesterday, right? And that means it's going to find me. So how do I do that? Firing and wiring, right? You fire the thought, it wires together, and you get the emotional response, and then you fire and wire more things. Really, really simple. Really, really powerful. Now, why does that make your brain a map to the future? Well, we touched on this yesterday. Most people, it's not everybody, because if you're doing this work, you're not most people. Most people, their brain is entirely an artifact of the past. And if you think about that, you have an experience, you have an emotional response, you're going to fire and wire that, right? So that's in your brain of the experience you've had. Now, I've got to qualify that. If you have an experience and you fire and wire and you thought, and you don't repeat it, it was nice, but it's gone, you forget about it forever, those new connections will prune apart in hours or days. That's just what happens. It's been measured. There was a Nobel Prize winning guy whose name I do not know, but he found a way to measure it, and in the particular part of the brain that he measured, with this new experience, 1,300 connections, they doubled to 2,600. But he also discovered that if the new information, the new experience, the new learning, whatever it is, isn't repeated and revisited and, rewired, then it disappears. So that's the same thing if you decide to learn to play a musical instrument and you have a couple of lessons, and that's fine, but then you never practice it again. You make new connections while you're learning to play the clarinet or strum the guitar, but if you then put it down and never do it, those connections are not going to stick. What does Joe say? New experiences is creating memories, but remembering the experience. Yeah, new experiences is creating connections in the brain, but remembering the new experiences is what maintains those connections. So we have to do this more than once. So, if you want to create a map to the future inside your brain with no physical way to make it happen, the first thing you have to realize is your experience is going to say to you, "You're mad. You should be ashamed of even thinking about this. You should be ashamed of even making decisions by something that you want, that you're just thinking about in your head. How dare you, not be responsible in the way that everyone expects you to. You'll have to get through all of that. Hello, this is inside my head too. I just had a really powerful experience with that this morning in my meditation. Wow. So when you get through that, you have to start firing and wiring this new experience that you desire. So you think, I imagine a life where I'm having this huge impact. This is me. And it's not hundreds or thousands of people, it's millions. And by the way, hi Sang Marie, lovely to see you, honey, yay! By the way, this is not something of me wanting everybody to know my name. I don't give a toss. I just don't care. But there is this thing in me that I have to do. It grips me. It drives me. I have no alternative if I want to live anything except a life of misery and I'm not aligned with my true purpose. I have to do this. There is no choice about this. Paula, good morning, gorgeous. I have a choice. But anything less and I will not be being me. Right? So, the sheer size of this vision is enough to be scary, but it grips me so strongly that it's like, well, whatever. So, and I've really only recognised it in the last couple of months, and there's all the incredulity and, but slowly, every day, I'm firing and wiring more of this. I'm making it more real inside me. And I'm starting to see little ways that this could come to pass. Just to perceive the possibility. And then I come back the next day and I see it again and I see a little bit more. And I shouldn't say see, I sense it, I perceive it, I experience it. And so I'm leaving footprints in my brain. My brain is becoming a map to that future. And more than that, I'm leaving footprints in the unified field. I'm leaving a resonance in the unified field, which is replicated in my brain, of what it is that I'm experiencing and breathing and smelling and tasting and feeling so much satisfaction and joy and peace and completeness. Oh my God, I've done it. This is amazing. This is what I came here to do. I'm complete. I can go now. And it's all in here, but it's also out in the field. And I understand that the more I fire and wire this, the more I create the new box, right? This is totally outside of my old box. Oh my God, I recognise myself 3 years ago. 3 years ago, the Maddie from 3 years ago could watch me and be like, who the hell is she? I like her, but who the hell is she? How did I get from here to there? It does take this time and this dedication to ourselves and to realise that if you're going to smash out of an old box, really you just got to... And you do it this way, inside yourself, however you do it. Martin Luther King, who do I look up to? It's funny, there's very few people that I really look up to. And, I'm thinking of all the people that I hear Joe Dispenza talk about that he looks up to. But it's funny, there's been very few people that I've looked at and said, I wanted to be that, I want to be like that person. Joe is the exception. I actually want to be like him. Amazing. But every single person who ever did something massive And I've got to be careful what I define as massive. For me, massive is this planet-changing impact. For someone else, massive is being an amazing parent. Massive is raising a healthy child. Massive is creating transformation in the workplace. We all have something that is just driving us from within, saying, this is my massive potential. And we got to get past all the crap. And, I've talked about ways to do that. And really begin to connect with it. Which in itself is a journey, because as you know, it took me about 4 months, 3 or 4 months, when I was intentionally doing a process to really connect with this, to really connect with it. That's how long it took, because there was so much crap in the way. I had an idea, didn't really know I had an idea, and it went from, who was more than enough Maddie to, oh my God, this is actually what I'm here to do. Wow. And it's still unfolding, and it's going to continue to unfold as I continue to make footprints in my brain and in the field to make it happen. And things will find me. I'm having more and more awareness and confidence that that's actually how it works, because I am seeing it happen in various ways, little and large. I watched a testimonial yesterday from one of Joe Dispenza's students, and I listened to her talk about her absolute passion to bring healing to children in schools, and she works with at-risk children, right? Long story short, go to the testimonial reel. Her name is Danielle. She's about, number 8 or 9 in the list. Hi, Arlen. Beautiful to see you. And I listened to her and I thought, oh my God, doing? You've got another piece of the puzzle. My vision's for another subset of humanity, but it's exactly the same. Oh my God, there's a whole bunch of us here. A little piece of the puzzle that we're putting together. Wow. And I listened to her talk about how this has happened for her, because she's been doing exactly the same thing as me, a bit longer, I think, certainly longer. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, thank you, Synchronicity, for showing me this is how it works. This is the path. It's not a quick fix. It's not an instant thing, but oh my goodness, it happens. And the clearer you get, and the more you make your brain a pathway to the map, a map to the future that you desire, and the more you embody it and live it and believe in it, even when you can't see anything coming, it is going to find you. And she's having all these amazing synchronicities, researchers and collaborators and school teachers who suddenly want to be involved in the work, and they're getting results, and and synchronous meetings with, totally rock star researchers that she's always admired, and they're just doing a thing that she needs to be part of her program, and they're all terribly pleased to meet her because of what she's doing. It just tells me, it's like she's leaving a footprint for me to follow. She can do it, I can do it. It's lovely to see you, honey. So you got to make your brain and your body, remember, it's not enough to think about it. You got to feel it. You got to taste it. You got to smell it. You got to put yourself there. You got to be there in that time, in that place. You got to make it so real inside yourself that you just feel it, even when everything inside you at the same time is saying, no, not happening. Quick story. Yesterday, it's been an interesting time. Over the holidays, I have quite consciously, I've had this situation. Now, I have an overdraft facility, and it cost me next to nothing because it's just a mortgage one with, very little interest. Great blessing. And I was faced with this situation thinking, well, we're going to be in overdraft for a little while, and there's money coming in, and that's fine. Now, I would have felt very bad about that in the past. All this stuff about it's bad to be, this is a bad thing to do. I mean, whoopee, it might cost me $5 or $10 worth of interest. Are you kidding? The amount of stress I used to carry over that. And then, the money comes in and it goes up. But, Wendy, good morning, beautiful. And then, so yesterday, I actually had to log into the bank, and I very much do my best to ignore it. And remember I said yesterday, my thing is, I don't want to see. That's part of it, because I don't want to see. I don't want to see how it is. Anyway, I logged in, and because I needed to pay a bill, and most of the money that was there that was just gone, because it was gone on things that I knew it was going to go on. And my immediate response was, And I noticed that, and I thought, hang on a minute, you were just in the field this morning. Hi, Mayan, lovely to see you, honey. Yay! From me to the other side of the world, lovely to see you. I was just in the field this morning, feeling invincible, feeling in love with divine intelligence that expresses itself as life. Linda, good morning! And I give up that connectedness with my vision and who I am and the truth of me because of some numbers on a screen? Right there, the choice. Which neural network am I going to fire? Which set of chemistry am I going to make real for me? And I'm very proud of myself because I consciously fired up the other network. Susanna! Yay! Lovely to see you, honey. I consciously fired up the other network, and I stopped. I sat there in front of the screen and I thought, no, I am invincible and I am in love with life. Divine intelligence that expresses itself as life. Everything. I don't mean life of the universe. And I connected with that feeling again, and I made myself stay connected with it through the day. And all through the day, my body was trying to go back to my emotional addiction to lack. And I'm very proud of myself because I didn't do it. And I got quite incoherent into the evening. I was aware of it, and I just kept choosing and choosing and choosing. And this morning, it's always easier in the morning because I get to be coherent, and I cleared a whole lot more stuff around it because I get to shift the old stuck energy out of my body. I'm pretty sure I'm out of time. Oh yeah, exactly. I pull out the clock. It says 22 minutes exactly on the 00. So, you've got to make your brain a map to the future that you desire. It's a record of the past unless you make it a map to the future. And how you do it is by thinking greater than you feel, and that can be a challenge, but you've got to start somewhere. And I am watching my students and collaborators and people that work with me one way and another do that, so I know it's possible. And you're doing it too because you tell me. So that's how you get out of the box, and that's how you make your brain a map to the future. And is it worth the effort? Hell yeah. Now, here's a new thing I'm doing, another new experience. In about 3.5 hours, I'm going to be on live. I don't know what to call this, but I've decided I'm going to do something about what I'm doing every week. There's some things I want to start creating, which may or may not, if you wish, involve you. And so I'm going to talk about that at about 12:30 today. And if it fits, it'd be great to see you. Big love. Until then, bye-bye.